Well, good afternoon, folks. How are you? My name's Keegan, and as you can see, I'm inside of a building today. I'm in my home doing this. I'm also doing this earlier than usual, which is why I'm staying in my home. I don't like to walk when it's so hot out until it's later in the day. Also, what's going to be unusual is the topic today. I did have a few things politically I wanted to talk about, but then something happened with a personal hobby of mine that I just can't help but talk about. And that's going to be video games. So, about a week ago, there was news that Grand Theft Auto 6 wasn't going to feature a physical copy. It was going to be digital only. And I'll preface everything I'm about to say by saying that I basically, since 2019, especially 2020, I have only bought digital media. Unless it's like something retro. It's just the way I am. And I realize there are flaws in that for sure, but it's something that I've always done. But when GTA 6, when Rockstar said that they weren't going to make a physical copy, but they're still releasing a special edition that you can buy physically. First of all, what are you going to get? What are they going to give you? Already, special editions, I feel like, have just been giving less and less stuff. I remember back in the day, I will say this, it's not always true. Like Persona 5, when that came out, I had bought this steel book. It was beautiful artwork. They had figurines. There was some really cool stuff. And Zelda franchise has usually done this as well. Hell, I remember Gears of War had some, I wasn't able to get it, but there was a special edition. I think they actually gave you the, well, I forget the name of the gun, but the one with the chainsaw on it. You actually got one of those. That's super cool. But what are you going to get with GTA 6? Why even bother selling a sort of special edition? But as soon as I heard that, I thought to myself, man, either this is going to succeed or fail. And if it succeeds, this is about to become a trend. And I follow some video gaming YouTube channels, and they were talking about how we were about to see a flurry of announcements that games weren't going to have a physical copy. Well, oh boy. So again, a thing I've said in my previous videos, I'm very good at prediction, but I just get the timing so wrong. Usually because things happen faster than I think they will. And this isn't even politics. And I said that one day there wouldn't be physical media. I was so wrong how long it would take. My calculation was that other companies would wait until GTA 6 actually came out, and they would see how big of an impact not having a physical disc had on its sales. Well, Sony apparently has just said, I don't know if they just said it, today at least, that as of January 2028, they're not making physical games anymore. And I mean, again, I'm someone who's always bought physical media, but I'm sorry, I'm someone who has, at least since 2019, bought a lot of digital media. And I'm not so old that, I wasn't around for the original Nintendo days. I didn't have a Genesis, I didn't have a Master System. I was born in 92. When I was born, my dad already had a Super Nintendo. And back then, I had so many games. I had so many 64 games. I had a GameCube. I had a Wii. I had an Xbox 360. I had a PS2 at one point. I had Game Boy Color. I had a Game Boy Advance. So even though I'm not buying as much physical media now, it's just crazy to see that they're just not going to sell them physical at all anymore. And I try and think of the pros and cons, but then I come to a big con that I think every gamer should really pay attention to with this. So, a big argument a lot of these companies are making is that they're not actually selling you the game, they're selling you a license for the game. So if every game going forward doesn't have a physical copy, what's going to happen when they just remove it from their libraries? What's the potential that games could end up going extinct? And I know there's a case to be made that somebody could store it on their hard drive somewhere, but for a lot of people, once physical media is gone, If they pull a game, how are you going to get it? How are you going to play it? And they talk about pulling games you've already paid for. And now there will be no way to combat that, you know? You will. I'm not telling people to pirate video games, but if it gets that bad, you know, this is why people pirate things. And I'm seeing a lot of the old heads, people older than me, they are freaking out about this. And it is a big deal. It is a big deal. But I just can't believe it's actually happening and so soon. I'm interested to see if GTA 6 comes out and a reason impacting its sales negatively would be that there's a lack of physical media. I'm wondering if Sony would reverse course, or at least, you know, some of their more obscure titles don't get physical releases, but like God of War Laufe or Leve, I don't know, I've heard it pronounced several ways. Like if that game comes out, that's the kind of game they would still have a physical copy of, but like there are lesser known things, they wouldn't make physical copies of that. I'm not sure how they're going to do it. I just can't believe it's happening. And it's going to make anyone who has physical media now, it's going to make all of that so much more valuable in the future. Take it from me, if you're a gamer and you have physical media and this isn't a part of your calculation already, don't ever sell that shit. Now it's going to be worth so much. In fact, any games you get from this point forward, you should get the physical media because these are going to be the last releases of physical media. And I know so many people are throwing their hat in, and I'm not actually a gaming channel. I talk about politics almost exclusively. But this is a huge hobby of mine, and I just can't believe it's happening. I mean, people always said it was going to happen, and I said it was going to happen, but it's happening sooner than I thought. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. AIDS, sorry. And it makes me wonder. So, like, we know for sure now the PS6 isn't going to have a disc drive, but will the next Nintendo console have a disc drive? Or, well, their little thing that they have? Will the next Xbox have a disc drive? What if manufacturers for PCs stop manufacturing things like disc drives? Because if this, my thing is that if GTA 6 knocks it out of the park and they just sell, then Sony is going to go full in. Even though they've already announced it, they will commit. And then other companies will probably then follow suit. And then, is it just going to be a decision that ends up being industry-wide? And then you throw in the idea that they can just revoke the licenses for games that you've already bought, so you can't play it anymore. God, the times we live in. See, I had planned on talking today. I didn't have a lot on my mind. I was going to talk about those two people that climbed the Empire State Building. They had that little banner, the love of peace, love of power expression. And apparently the dude, when they came down or something, I'm not sure, about proposing to the girl that went up there with him. I don't know. I could have that part wrong. I just thought that was a very brave, very cool thing those two did. I talk a lot about bravery. I talk a lot about doing what needs to be done, going out of your way. That is a very good example of what I mean. And it's better than me because I'm willing to do a lot of scary stuff in order to, you know, fight for what I believe in. But I'm terrified of heights. That's one thing. I am so afraid of heights. So I was originally going to talk about this, but then I read the Sony thing, and I was just like, oh, man. And I'm feeling I'm feeling a certain type of way about it. And again, I buy almost exclusively digital media, but there are things that come out where I really do want. And I remember, especially special editions, those used to be so much cooler. Now there's no reason to buy those. You're just going to buy that, get a couple collectibles, if they even still do that, because a lot of them don't do that anymore, and you're going to get a little digital code to put in to install your game. I don't know, man. The world is changing so much. And I'm only 33 years old. I'm not even halfway through my potential life. But it's changed so much, even from now to when I was 23. And it's crazy. And it starts to make you wonder, like, is there any potential that, like, TV shows and movies and books, is everything going to become this, where we don't touch anything anymore? Just screens. Screens. Nothing's real anymore. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm interested to see. The thing is, I talk about if Sony has negative sales because of this, or if GTA 6, like, doesn't do well because of this, but I know they're going to. There's no way they're not. Well, I have suspicions that GTA 6 might end up not being good. I mean, at minimum, I don't think it's going to live up to GTA 5 standard. That was an incredible game. Oh, GTA 5 is so good. But I think GTA 6, regardless of it, being good or not, it will sell. It's GTA. And I don't know, like with Sony, like when they released the new God of War, that's gonna sell. The new Wolverine game, that's gonna sell. I'm trying to think of anything else Sony announced that I'm really into. I mean, a lot of things I'm waiting on. Like, I was waiting on the Star Fox remake, the Ocarina of Time remake. We know that's going to be physical media. But all these big name things that Sony is up to, those are going to sell. So even me saying that, like, if they don't sell, blah, 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 that's totally hypothetical. I don't see a reality in which these things don't sell. The exception being, if it very quickly comes out that the games themselves are actually bad. But I don't think them not having physical media is going to be enough to turn people away. I mean, like I said, I buy a lot of digital media. It's just a shame because, God of War, the new God of War would have been a game I'd buy a special edition of. Especially if they had cool stuff in it. But they're not gonna, and they're not even gonna have discs anymore. And in a few years, when we get the new line of consoles, they're probably not going to even have disk drives. So that's just crazy times. So that's just what I wanted to talk about a little bit today. Maybe take a little break from doing politics. What are you whining about? Say hi to my whiny puppy real quick. Huh? What are you whining about? You're a good girl. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Oh. Okay, folks. I'm going to let you go. I hope you're all doing well and be safe.